So I'm going to open the meeting at 4:31. If we can start our pledge allegiance to the flag.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so we'll open public comment at 4:31, and we'll keep it open till 5:01. If anyone has anything they'd like to talk about, you can come to the podium and state your name, please.
We need a motion for that, Kelly.
Okay, I'll make a motion to open public comment.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone for public comment? Okay.
All right, so I guess next we're going to be talking about the Title I grant. Lauren?
Yeah, sure. So I guess just because we have a short meeting, I can explain in detail, or I can just take your questions, which might be better for time. If you have questions about what the activity, I believe Meredith sent you the activity, or you've been given a copy of the activity. And I can give kind of an overview of it to start, or just take questions if you have questions.
Is this curriculum that we're adopting?
Yeah, it's not an adoption, it's going to be a pilot, so that we can see if we do want to adopt it, because we found that we really feel like there's an urgency to take charge of kind of that literacy achievement that we've all concerned about. We kind of share the same concerns that you have and parents have. So this year we put together a group of K-8 teachers and got feedback from interventionists and administration and our literacy consultant, and took the year to really look at how we teach reading, how we assess reading, how that integrates with writing, what are our achievement scores, kind of looking at the holistic, that reading and writing component, and really found that we had gaps. And we had areas that we really needed to fill, and one of those things that we wanted to address is like continuity between grade levels and between buildings. And I think with continuity, we're going to see achievement, improve for one reason. But also the program, we're going to take a look at it hopefully this coming year with if you approve the activity. I think what we're going to find is that it's going to elevate like the academics in the tier 1 in the classroom. Kids are going to have access to grade level texts. It's all based on content knowledge, the science of reading. It's a research-based program. There's no screens. The kids aren't on digital screens. It's all text-based discussions, vocabulary development. It's very integrated with science and social studies, and we really feel like that kind of approach to reading and writing, because it's both reading and writing, is really going to have a really great impact on our kids across both buildings. So for this activity, this is grades 2 to 4, and this is Title I funds now. So Title I can support a pilot. And in this pilot, what we would do is purchase the bulk of the materials, and those are one-time purchase. They're classroom libraries, the books. So we would purchase that for grades 2, 3, and 4, along with the teacher manuals. So most of the financial lift on it is coming out of the Title I activity. Professional development is one of the things that's in there as well, so that we would support teachers in kind of learning how to use it through Title I funds.
So, I'm sorry.
So that would be kind of that's where this activity serves that purpose too, kind of lifting off the program without it impacting the operating budget.
And this would replace a current reading and writing curriculum that we have?
Yeah, so if we were to adopt it, yes. So what we currently have is something called Lucy Calkins Units of Study. And research has come out in the last, really highlighted in the last 4 or 5 years about the science of reading and how students learn to read and how schools are moving away from what we call balanced literacy to more structured literacy. And this program is in line with that research, whereas the Lucy Calkins program has gotten a lot of pushback in recent years, these last recent years. And where we put foundations in place in the last, this is our third year, we just finished our third year with Fidelity with Foundations, which is that, that kind of rooted in the phonics of reading and how words work. And we've embedded that into our K 1, 2, 3 grades. Teachers are using that. It's 30 minutes block every day for students. And we've seen a real increase in our achievement scores just by putting foundations in. So what we would do is keep foundations as that kind of everyday 30 minutes, learn how words work. And then wit and wisdom would be the reading portion. And I think with those two things, the nice thing about wit and wisdom is that it matches, it's cohesive with foundations as a program. They work together. Schools use it because it works together with foundations. So that's kind of why we chose to pilot that instead of something else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do any of the other, because this is going to be asked by parents, because this is the big
Yeah.
thing, do any of the other SAU communities, Hampton Falls, Southampton, do they use this type of curriculum in their school, this wit and wisdom?
So they're not using wit and wisdom, but they're also investigating programs.
Okay.
So we would be able to say, okay, this is our pilot with wit and wisdom. And those other schools, each school is unique, but they're also looking at how to match their curriculum with the science of reading research that's coming out. So whether they end up with wit and wisdom, they may or may not, I don't know. And we may not either. I think it's a good match. We've looked at it pretty deeply. And I know that our new director of teaching and learning, Shay, met with her today and talked it through with her. And she just came from a district who did an in-depth pilot in kindergarten and 6th grade and saw with wit and wisdom and saw great results. So it's just another person that we have as a resource. But I do know that there's schools in New Hampshire adopting it because our literacy coach that we have, her name is Sarah Shirilla, she works with other districts that are lifting off wit and wisdom. It's called a knowledge-based curriculum, so that kids really, they delve into the content and then they learn to read around the content. So it's very integrated and immersive, so it's showing good results.
So this isn't to change the curriculum,
No.
this is basically to
Try
do
it.
a training session with teachers K through 8,
Yep,
and then book kits?
and purchase the kits
Okay.
so that they can try it this year, so the teachers can pilot it, so they can study it. So we'll have a group that stays together, the same group that was this year with some new members, represented K through 8 teachers, interventionists, and administration. And we'll reflect on that throughout the year and say, how is it working? We're going to be able to take a look at our NEWA results and then use what we have in NEWA called the NEWA Screener, which is a 20-minute kind of assessment that can dip in and see how our students are, how they're growing across the year, and see if we can see shifts in our data once we start piloting it. So it's a pilot. It's not something we're adopting until we learn about it. But here's why we're doing this, because we need to do something now. It's urgent. We know that we need to do this. We want to match your concerns. We want to meet the expectations. Your concerns are real. And we know that, but we've also lifted the math and the foundations off, and we're ready for this. We're ready to take on a deeper look at a reading curriculum.
So if I can be
Okay.
completely honest on
Yeah.
my end, I'm a little nervous about this just because I don't want to be the guinea pig on something new when we're already struggling.
The program
It just-
isn't new.
Program is.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right.
I-
So maybe that was my misunderstanding, that this was a new program that it's gonna be new to us, okay. Cause I was like, I don't want to be the guinea pig.
No, I usually have to explore that, you know, with kids who don't really speak English at all, and we had really a great result in it. I think the teachers here are invested in it, cause they know, just like you hear from all of you, and you hear from parents, people need to do something. And,
Right,
I think
I
when
think
you
with all
spend a year, like they work this year together, and then they'll work next year, you'll know, like, yeah, this is what we need. And, you know, we'd be happy to report out to you at the end of these trimesters, this is what it's doing for kids in reading, this is what our writing looks like. I mean, we've heard their concerns, we have the same concerns, so and then at the end of the year, if you decide no, then no is no, you still have all those great books that you can use with
Exactly.
kids, so.
That's why it's a win, because you still end up with a lot with the kits.
And
with
for
the
us to
custom
have
libraries.
cohesion, we have to.
right, cause we are one school.
I think that, like I said, I know that anything we do right now, we're gonna have parent concerns and stuff. We've definitely spent the better part of a year talking scores, and especially reading more so than math or anything else. We have to change something. We got, you know, we can't, insanity would be doing the same thing that we've done every single year, hoping that that's gonna get better. So to pilot something that could work, that may or may not have been proven to work before, I don't see the harm in that. It's not hitting the operating budget, so we don't have to worry about taxes on that. And I think it's at least a step in the right direction of, like, they've looked at something and now we're gonna move forward
We're trying
and try something. Because if we go into the school year with the same stuff, then we haven't done anything. We've
That we
wasted,
don't- we
we've
come in
wasted
without-
time and effort. And then everyone's butting heads still of saying, like, why don't you do something, why don't you do it? And now we
Right.
have an opportunity to maybe do something, so.
And here's some more good news, is that not just the team that's representative K through 8, but the teachers on every grade level. I've met with every grade level. They've all been given digital access for free, and they're all in support of it. If you were in the room when you heard the second grade teachers, how excited they were to try this, they know we need to meet the needs of kids differently. This is matching with our already established foundations program, which still stay in place. Our interventionists support it. I just sat with them yesterday and chatted in more depth with our interventionists at the elementary school. I think that both principals, I feel like it's now to try it. It's not an adoption, but it's a move. It's a significant move that we can be making. And I don't see another program that matches. That matches our needs. And our needs are that we are a building that's connected K through 8. This is a program that runs K through 8, right? So we have an opportunity to integrate with our middle school. It also is cohesive with foundation. We have foundation. We have people that have seen it in action. Colin used it in a previous school and saw results. So we have that kind of level of background. We also have that it's just looking it up, it's vetted by the state, it's established, it's been around long enough to get the kinks out of it, it's not new.
So I read a lot of reviews on it,
Oh, good.
and there was a lot of pushback on it. There was, a couple, I read reviews for both parents and teachers.
Okay.
I read reviews up to as recent as a couple months ago, all the way to a year, and some of them were 3 years.
Okay.
These are just a couple of reviews. It's lacking traditional grammar, language arts instruction. This is a teacher. For example, spelling words will stop in 3rd grade and switch to vocabulary. The students are not taught spelling or rules afterwards. Vocabulary is not spelling instruction. 4th onward, the grammar portion is sprinkled loosely throughout and completely lacking formal instruction. What else it says? I challenge you to look at this curriculum, take the material home and go through them. It's very lacking. As such, we've had to supplement extensively at home with spelling and grammar. As a teacher, this was discouraging to me as teaching in a classroom and then having to come home as a parent and do the same. Obviously, it's not all negative, but most of what I read, they were. It's also from the same maker of Eureka, and one of the concerns was that, like Eureka, it's too fast-paced, and that by the time the students are able to catch on, they're going on to the next chapter. It says our children is 80% English language learners who haven't even been to preschool. For us, the lessons are much too lengthy and developmentally inappropriate. There was a lot of reviews. I'm not just going to read all the negative ones. There was a couple people that did say that their school just adopted it and they want to give it a try, but that was a couple years ago.
They're piloting one module.
What's that?
Well, not the second and third, fourth.
Yeah.
No, this is like this is like a bunch of sites.
Yeah, that's true.
Tons of information online on why it's been dropped by several districts for controversial themes and texts. My district was supposed to implement it last year, and it was dropped for the lack of diverse voices and texts as well as outdated historical themes. I'm just telling you the research I found because we usually get research, so I did.
Okay.
I read a lot, and it seems like that it's, from what I read, it just seems like that it's really fast-paced and that it's not age-appropriate. This person did say, I'm not a teacher, my 3-year-old kids have been using this curriculum at elementary. My son was in kindergarten, online, and they used Great Minds, WW website, same thing. I brought all the books so we could physically run the pages and try my best to make it fun. It was the worst, I don't know if I said that, it was the worst learning experience. It's been inappropriate, complicated, boring. My kid's favorite thing to do, he noticed, was how dumb the book looked, okay? But, I mean, I did read a lot of reviews, and there was a lot of districts that did try it and did decide not to go with it. I think my only thing is that if we're spending, I mean, if it was, did you say second and third grade?
2, 3, 4.
Okay, so if it was second through fourth, and it was those teachers, but it sounds like we're paying a day of training for $10,000, so how many teachers is that?
Right, so so I called the company after, first they give you a quote, then I called them, and the training now is at $7,000 for 2 days, $3,500 a day. Those would be with the teachers that are piloting it. So one of those days would be August 26th, and then they would come to the school on an additional day and come and work with teachers.
So the training went from
on-site.
10,500 a day
To 7.
to,
Yeah, because originally she was going, yep, that's exactly right.
so we
7,
wouldn't
2
be
days.
approving this amount when this would need to be,
Right, that's one of the things I was going to tell you tonight, yep.
and then
I called the company.
materials.
Materials are the same. The materials are grades 2, 3, and 4. They're the kits that go, and the teacher manuals, so they have those manuals.
Is there a way to have something like Colleen stated, like, meet after the trimester, see how is there anything to have the teachers to make everybody feel more comfortable, put something in writing and say, this is working great, just some sort of,
Pilots are intended.
okay,
Yeah.
They're evaluating along the way.
Along
so
the
that
way.
you can
okay,
make an
and then, and that way that we
informed
can get that information as well.
One of the things that we did is have the company rep come and meet with our writing team, and she spent a couple hours with us talking through the program, showing us all the back end of it. She had samples, we looked at them, the teachers took them home, we reconvened and talked about it in depth. So that writing team, that's the literacy team that got together this year, they get together for 18 hours, it's represented from K through 8, K4 through Title II, professional development. And they really dug in this year to look at our literacy for kids, for writing and reading, and how they integrate together. Because right now, how we're teaching writing is separate from our reading in the elementary school. And that, we don't have enough time in the day to have those things separated. With this program, they're integrated together so that you're learning your vocabulary, your grammar, your writing, along with the text you're reading. The text the students are going to be reading is going to be at grade level. It's grade level text. So if you're a third grader, you're reading a third grade book. If you're a fourth grader, you're reading a fourth grade book. Whereas now, we have books, some students are, not receiving grade level text as often as they should.
So what's
So
the new number to
because
be approved?
There's still going to be differentiation within the classroom, but the anchor text that the teacher uses grade level. And then what they do then is like scaffold up or down based on students' abilities.
Do
So
we know what the
it's
Title I
unique in
funding
that.
is for this year?
What's that?
Do we know what the Title I funding is for this year? I thought I heard it.
Yeah, so for
Decrease.
this year, I believe it was 432, something like that.
And what was it last year?
It was, slightly higher, but than this year. But what happened last year is that we had rollover funds from the previous year. And those rollover funds is what we're using to put the summer school together.
Okay, so we didn't,
so
decrease
really-
in funding.
It isn't a lot. It was a decrease,
Yep.
but it isn't as significant as we thought it was going to be. We're going to get those numbers.
Do you have the new calculation of what the approval will be for, just minus the
Yeah, so
1,000?
that's what it's,
Oh, okay.
yeah, that's I think what Vernon's gonna see. I think it's 432.
Oh, I was just talking about for
no,
the,
that's-
7,000
for the actual
Program.
program.
To approve it.
Oh, for the 7,000 is the training, and then the books are the $20,000 kits. So the training went down because I called and, you know, that's how you have to be with a company. I mean, they're gonna give you the Cadillac, and I called and said, no, you know, we don't need that quite yet. I just need teachers to be able to, on that opening day, have a training on site and then be supported, when they get up and running.
I think the only thing that concerns me is that it's part of the same company as Eureka, and Eureka's been a challenge.
But I also
Well,
think that
Sammy's-
that's
It's also
moving
professional
forward with
judgment.
something different that we've tried, I mean, like I said, it's a pilot to see if we can make something
Well,
better. And
here-
doing something right now is clearly better than doing nothing, because as the board, we've all kind of felt that concerns hadn't been met, and now we have
Right.
an opportunity to, and again, if we don't like it at the end of the year, and it doesn't work out, and they're gonna give us progress reports throughout the whole year,
Otherwise-
elementary school principals for it, the middle school principals for it, teachers seem to be for it. I think it's
Well, they-
something to
they-
give a try to.
Did we look into any other programs or just this one?
Well, this is the one that matches with foundations, and we already have a foundations program up and running. And that was a huge investment on the staff and professional development built in our schedule. So this is the one that matches with foundations.
Is Foundations Eureka?
No,
No.
foundations is our
Reading
phonics
out
program.
foundations
It is
is,
like our language-based.
Oh, okay.
How you listening, how you
Reading,
listen,
writing,
writing words down
sight
into
words.
phonics.
Okay.
I would
Thank
say
you.
at the elementary side right now, we're providing teachers with the tools to be successful in teaching half of good reading instruction, and they're supplementing the other half on their own, much like that person in that
Yeah.
comment, right? And so the part that we're supplementing though is almost the opposite, that they have to find things for their kids to read that go along with, these are the letter sounds that we learned today. But now, my understanding is that this will all mesh, they'll have all the tools that they need to be able to teach reading appropriately and correctly in a way that matches how all the current research says it should be done.
Ready for a motion?
Do you guys want to make a motion for it?
I make a motion to approve Title I grant activity in the amount of $28,096.19.
28,000,
96.19. $28,096.
$3,000 less than what was already in there.
okay.
Because it's $3,000
It's
less.
$7,000 for the training. for
And
2
we do have
days.
the option at the end of the pilot to nix it if it's not working.
Not do it.
Okay.
Yep,
And we'll get some type of feedback on what,
and you can have feedback as often as you want. We could,
we
you know, we
should
could
probably
build
get
a
feedback
slot.
from the parents too.
Yeah, we could build a slot into our monthly agendas. We can have teachers present out. We can, you know, certainly give the updates as we go.
Yeah, I think you want to look at it from multiple avenues, right? Parenthood is important, but I think primarily we're interested in the academic outcomes.
Yeah.
You're only going to have a sense of that,
And
you know,
we-
partway along at the beginning. So I think you want teacher feedback, parent feedback, and you want to look at what you have for data.
Yeah. And knowing that, you know, in a pilot, you're not gonna be able to see the deep achieve, you can't see something until it's completely rolled in.
Well,
Um,
that is.
But for achievement levels, you know, you can, I hope, I'm this is why we're doing it, so that we can see a bump in achievement. This is why we're doing it. Otherwise, we're not taking an action. And this is a year-long study that we've been doing. This isn't something that we, teachers have been, like I said, they met for 18 hours. That was, their commitment, and they did that work to look at, where we're at. We brought student work, we calibrated that work with each other. It was a process that we went through together, along with feedback from the town and you and everyone else saying we need to do something.
I personally like a pilot because I don't want to do something that doesn't work either, and if it's me to freedom to scrap it,
Yeah.
it's not good.
It's true.
Yep, if it's a trial.
And
So,
that's,
Is there a second?
so I was just
I
gonna
will
say,
second it for discussion, which has already been happening, but.
And a vote?
all in
Does
favor?
anybody else have any
No.
thing to discuss?
No.
Good.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 No.
thank you for that support, and happy to answer questions one-on-one and make for during the year as well. We can bring it to the board as often as you want with multiple points of view. All right?
Thank you.
so much for that.
Thank you.
All right, so now we have to do which one on public.
Motion for roll call. Make a motion for a roll call, enter non-public session under RSA, I mess this up all the time, 91-A3, Roman numeral 2B at 4:57.
Yeah. Yes.
And second?
I'll second.
And Jen?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Lacey?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yes.
Okay.
Not me.
Okay, I make a motion, we go back into public at 5:07 PM.
Second.
Who second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Let the public in.
Who made the second there? Lacey?
Lacey did.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yep, we're good.
Make a motion to approve the superintendent's nomination of Heather Hewlett for the SES classroom teacher position for the 2024-2025 school year.
I'll second.
And a vote?
All in favor?
Aye.
No.
Aye.
Jen? Patrick? Kelly?
No.
Lacey?
Sorry. No. No. Will we post and start again?
Why can't we make a nomination to hire Andrea?
That's not the nomination that was moved forward.
We can still make a nomination. We did it with Mr. Belanjo.
I'm not making that nomination in public session at this time.
Okay, I know. I make a nomination that we
The board
hire
doesn't
Andrea
nominate,
Dreyfus.
the superintendent nominates, and the board will act. So we don't have a nomination at this time.
So what do we have to do, change policy?
Well, that's state law.
Why did you get to do it with Brian?
You're in a personnel conversation that really isn't appropriate in a public session.
All right, I'll contact legal.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
At 5:10.